Masami known as Periyar. Though his presence is very much in Tamil Nadu and southern part of subcontinent, many other parts of India may need to made aware of it. He is the classic example of transformative leadership in politics and social change. Periyar was known for anti-Brahmanism, political atheism, anarchism and non-attachment to any religion, language or caste and for fighting women's empowerment. Periyar ideology is imperative in current political scenario after the ascendance of Hindutva politics in post 2010. His messages were for the global citizen, but history identified him as a local leader. In past political discourse, many authors compared Periyar with Socrates, Voltaire, Rousseau, and many other great personalities. Uh, Thinkers like Gita and Rajadurai has wrote about that. Like Socrates, Periyar was man of streets, not that parliament. So Periyar cannot be compared with any philosopher because he was a practitioner and not a theoretician. Periyar himself admitted in his news daily that I am better versed in practical than theory. The core value of Periyar, opposing Brahmanism and believing in India's caste hierarchy, general inequality in education and wealth possession are all byproducts of Brahmin and Brahmanism hegemony. Without removing the Brahmanism, there is no true freedom for Indian masses. Periyar's idea of liberty firmly support freedom from God, freedom from oppression, freedom from caste and cruelty, freedom towards rationalism and emancipation. Let me unpack my speech on why we should celebrate Periyar and his ideology in the current scenario based on what history showed to us. Across India, every citizen has a habit of keeping their caste name as a surname. For instance, people have caste names such as Sharma, Iyer, Saxena, Pandey, etc. This practice is not very much followed in Tamil Nadu. The reason being is none other than Periyar. In 1929, the Chengalpet Conference, the self-respect movement, founded by Periyar, passed the resolution. Periyar insists people drop their caste surname, advocating equal property rights for women, encouraging women's freedom in choosing their life partners across caste and communities. More importantly, dropping surname in Tamil Nadu exists even today among a more significant proportion of people, which is exceptional to the rest of India. The international renowned British Marxist Perry Anderson, in his work on the Indian ideology, 3 essays collectives, called Periyar a fearless enemy of caste and sexual inequality. Periyar protested on temple entry movement of subaltern caste in Vaikam, Kerala. He was arrested and sentenced to prison for 6 months. Later, history showed that every caste person could enter the temple without discrimination. However, only Brahmin can become priest in the Hindu temple. Periyar deadly fight against equal employment opportunity for all caste people. Under the current DMK government in Tamil Nadu passed an ordinance to make all caste people become a priest in the Hindu temple and successfully implemented it. He fought against the Devadasi system where a girl from a particular community should be enticed to the temple and she delivered all kinds of service to the temple authorities. In 1920s, with the support of Justice Party, he removed the position of Devadasi system from Indian temple. John Rawls theorized the concept of social resources in 1960, but Periyar implemented in 1930s. Social resources allow every citizen of the country to get equal opportunity to public access like water, education, parks, etc. In 1930s, many places of old Madras where lower caste communities could not access public spaces. After Periyar and his associates protested, it was open to all. Similarly, before 1920s in Madras Presidency, knowing Sanskrit was mandatory to access medical education. Though Sanskrit was spoken by not even 1% of people in the country, it was an obstacle for many medical aspirants. Periyar efforts made the ruling government remove this rule. Though Periyar started his political career with the Congress party, he had a great respect for the words of Gandhi. When Gandhi called for the prohibition of liquor, Periyar cut down 500 palm trees. which is used as an input for local native liquor from his land. In 1925, Cherama Devi issues made Periyar conflict with VVS Iyer, a congressman who initiated the Gurukulam, a traditional school system where Brahmin children were treated better than non-Brahmins and the discrimination was rampant. The irony, the school was started from a massive donation from the non-Brahmin community. Periyar protested against the Brahmin who are key decision maker of the Congress party in Tamil Nadu then. And he stepped down from the Congress and started the self-respect movement. In 1927, Periyar met Gandhi. He insisted India got true freedom when self-rule and self-respect and domination of Hindu and Brahminism were eliminated from the Congress and the India. However, Gandhi was not concerned taking his view. Later, Periyar broke away from Gandhi and strongly felt Gandhi was obstacle to the social reform and the revolution. So, Periyar visited Russia and other European of communication. He always targets anti-Brahminism, gender inequality, economic disparities, linguistic chauvinism and racial supremacy. Like Gandhi, he also ran a vernacular news dailies and widely traveled nooks and corners to reach the masses. So Mikun Bakun and a social thinker and Periyar shared much more common ideology regarding political atheism and anarchism. So Bakunin believed in communism. He distanced himself from Marxist ideology of socialism. He dubbed it as Doctrine School of German Communism. In 1944, whereas Periyar wrote about who should come first, communism or common rights, Periyar supported for the common rights. It showed that he is not a great fan of communism, at least in India. Both believed that people should avoid the dogmas and the authority of God and the state. However, Periyar executed all his protests in a non-violent way. Nevertheless, Bakunin admitted openly no problem in using violence to the end in the government. In words of the author Manoharan, Periyar anti-Brahminism was a political atheism that sought to critique, demystify and dismantle the political theology of Brahminism. Historical documents in Periyar wrote that people say that there is an omnipotent and omnipresent God, but I am not calling for his abolition. I am only calling for the abolition of that God who approves and strengthens the caste order. Periyar strongly believed India to prosper and additional support for women's liberation beside atheism to be followed. Periyar used rationalism and atheism to attain the end goals of social justice, which means a critical integration of existing power structure. In 1973, in his final delivered speech 5 days before his death, he said that Hinduism is detrimental for most of the caste people in India except the privileged one. He claimed that Gandhi was assassinated because he was moved closer to anti-Brahminical ideology. However, during Pune Pact, Periyar telegrammed Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar not to oblige Gandhi's demand on non-separate province for untouchability. He argued that Gandhi's life was not much higher than the benefit of the untouchability of this country. In 1959, Periyar met Ambedkar in Burma. During his reminiscence, Periyar respectfully declines Ambedkar's offer Periyar to embrace Buddhism, but he campaigned for Buddhism along with him. Periyar believed that till he was in Hinduism, he had the right to speak against the atrocities in Hinduism. The book, The Dravidian Model, by our former JNU colleague, scholars Kalayarasan, hypothesized that Tamil Nadu transformed the state from poverty stricken to the top of the table in the elevation of poverty in sustainable developmental goal in 2021. The significant change is because of the implementation of social justice by the Dravidian parties in the past 5 decades, during which Periyar ideology inspired the state policy. Though Periyar has limited reach in the global presence, his ideology is good enough to offer universal discourse on secularism and social justice in present and in future. Periyar may be an underrated leader, but his message and action match any other global leader. Thank you for the opportunity.